Rock and roll icon Marilyn Manson stirred up some controversy at a recent concert after doing the following. Let's take a look at this video. So you can see he is in a wheelchair due to an injury that crushed his leg back in September. And this took place in San Bernardino, and this is the city where a terrorist killed 14 people back in December 2015. He's obviously pointing a fake gun with a microphone attached to it at the crowd. This people felt was very tasteless because it took place just hours after the shooting in Texas. Marilyn Manson has released a statement to Variety which reads the following: in an era where mass shootings have become a nearly daily occurrence, this was an act of theater in an attempt to make a statement about how easily accessible semi-automatic weapons are and how seeing them has become normalized. My art has always been a reaction to popular culture and my way to make people think about the horrible things that happen in this world. My performance was not meant to be disrespectful or show any insensitivity. The prop microphone I used on stage was handed to me with the approval of a police officer. My empathy goes out to anyone who has been affected by the irresponsible and reprehensible misuse of real guns. So let's just get a response from you, Caroline. You saw the video, you heard about this, maybe you're familiar with Marilyn Manson's brand of shock rock. What did you think when you heard about this go down?
I thought it was completely tasteless to say that this is an art form, you know, right after the shootings happened in Houston and then a few years after the same city had it happen to them. You can't call it art. I think that statement was a whole lot of nothing, and I think he's looking for attention and controversy in all the wrong places, and I think he's piggybacking on the fame that we unfortunately give mass shooters, and I think that's super tacky.
I think it is interesting that it does seem like he's sort of making a commentary on the fame that we give these mass shooters. I don't know where I land on this, only because I know from my own research from Columbine how Marilyn Manson has been thrust into the conversation of mass shootings before. I would like to believe that he didn't take lightly into doing this at his concert, but the fact that it did take place hours after the shooting in Texas, it doesn't feel like that's the time for art. But then I also call myself out and I'm like, are we more outraged by this performance than maybe we are at mass shootings and how there have been to date 378 in the country in 2017 alone?
And I think that is a really good point. And I thought of the same thing of he's trying to show us like it was a fake gun. He had permission, but
like what is more dangerous? Are we saying if we get outraged, which I wouldn't describe, I am far more outraged at the mass shooting than I am at what took place at Marilyn Manson's concert. But I think we can agree that the timing is questionable. I hope it was not a decision that they had taken lightly to do. That they consulted police officers is good, I suppose. But I question, the outrage. I think it is easier to be outraged at Marilyn Manson. He's such a lightning rod figure in the media.
And he wants that,
right.
You know? It was weird because I was listening to one of his Columbine interviews, the one on Bowling for Columbine, where Michael Moore asked him, what would you say to these boys who did the shooting? And he said, I wouldn't say anything, I would just listen. And that was so powerful, and I think, had a lot of empathy and kind of humanized Marilyn Manson in a way that I had never seen it. I mean, seeing the Dope Show when I was 7, I was terrified of him. But after seeing that interview, I thought he was a really insightful guy and, was more interested in what he had to give off and to the universe.
It is curious too. I know that interview you're talking about, it is really powerful to watch. This was a guy that was overtly accused of being a cause of Columbine, of one of the most impactful mass shootings in American history.
Yeah.
So I want to believe that any commentary that he makes on mass shootings comes from a place of, I have been accused of this horror, so I am now in a place where I should be allowed to comment on this horror. My hesitation comes from just the timing. I think that it is an interesting commentary to make. Are we going to be more outraged at a fake gun used at a concert than a real gun and people who should not have access to these firearms so easily getting access to these firearms and then using them to kill just tens and tens of people? Where is the outrage here, right? What is more important? But timing-wise, this was hours after Texas.
Yeah, I think he's testing us, and I don't really like the way that he's doing it, you know? There is nothing scarier in my eyes than guns and the way that, you know, people are using them in this country and really all over the world. And I think for him to kind of use it as an art form and all of that was just,
it's worthy of criticism. It's worthy of breaking down and figuring out where we land on this. At least if we're having a conversation about gun violence and gun reform in the United States, that's something I'm all a part of. So we want to toss it to you guys in the comments section below. You saw the video. Maybe you're familiar with Marilyn Manson. What did you think about this? What do you think about the timing, his art in general? Let's talk about it in the comments section below. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and we will see you next time on Pop Trigger.